Hey everyone, welcome to part 6 of this trophy and achievement guide for Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. Thank you all for coming along on this journey with me, and a special thank you to all of the channel members who helped us support the channel. I really appreciate it. Now without further ado, let's dive into it. Picking up where we left off last time, let's run toward the camera and into a new screen. Keep going forward for a little scene. This train is bound for Dollet, stopping at East Academy. This is the last train for today. Please hurry on board. The last train. Get on. Let me double check. Get off at East Academy and go through the forest west of the station. Galbadia Garden is located up ahead. Is that correct? Indeed. Glad we have a leader with a good memory. And now let's board the train. This train, bound for East Academy, will depart shortly. We'll
Open, open, open!
make it.
Please! Open up!
Better let her have her way. Confirming. Access granted.
Thanks!
Now let's talk to all of our party members. Oh man.
We should get there shortly, so we'll be alright out here.
Weren't you just saying something? It really doesn't matter which dialogue option you pick right now. I'm just going to say it's nothing important, but... well, we made it.
I have to thank Zone for that. He's into naughty magazines.
I'll keep that in mind. That little detail is actually important later on. Now let's go into the front of the car and talk to Selphie.
I love trains. Train, train, take us away. Take us away, far away. To the future we will go. Where it leads, no one knows.
Let's go back out by our other teammates and see what they thought of my singing. Zell clearly disapproves and won't even talk to us. We will just leave him alone. Well, the train's going to automatically start going around the world map, and then it will offer to let us off at East Academy. However, we are not going to get off at the East Academy station. We will choose no and continue going forward. And after another short train ride, we get to the end of the line and we get off at Dollet Station. Now from here, what we want to do is to turn around and start heading back toward the camera, and then over toward the right side is going to be Dollet. So let's run down the road and into the town of Dollet, where there's a few things that we want to do. Starting off, we're going to go forward toward the brown car, but stick over toward the left side of the screen to go up the stairs. Now we're going to run forward toward the statue in the middle of the plaza, and then we're going to go away from the camera and into the hotel. Let's go over and talk to the receptionist, and we're going to spend 100 gil to stay at the hotel. And when we do that, we actually have the ability to grab a Timber Maniacs magazine off the desk on the right side of the screen. So make sure you grab that and read it, and then run toward the screen to go back out into the lobby of the hotel. Now what we want to do is go and use the save point, and we're going to save on any of the save slots that we have available to us. And once the game has been saved, we're going to close out the game entirely. So on the PlayStation 5, you can bring up the home screen and then close the game, and then we can reopen the game, and we just have to go back and reload the game that we had just saved a moment ago. What we're doing is we're resetting the RNG of the game so that we can get a preferable outcome when we go into the next triple triad match. So once we load up that previous save, we want to immediately leave the hotel lobby by running toward the screen, then turn around and go straight back into the hotel. There's a woman in green near the save point. We want to challenge her to a card game, and she wants to mix the rules. We're going to say no. Then we're going to challenge her again, and once again, we're going to say no. For a third time, we're going to initiate a game, and this time we're going to say yes. And you'll see that we have the random rule. This is a terrible rule that we want to abolish from this region, so let's choose quit. And if we do that, then it's going to abolish the random rule from the region, which means we're not going to have to deal with it, and that makes triple triad much easier in this area. And now we're free to leave the hotel and continue on. If we run toward the camera, there's going to be a somewhat hidden draw point over here for some silence magic, so let's go ahead and draw that with someone, and then exit out toward the bottom left corner of the screen. Let's continue to run down the road here, and over on the right hand side is going to be a junk shop that we can shop at, and we can remodel a weapon. We should have enough for Renoa to get the Cardinal weapon, which is one of her better weapons. We need the Cockatrice Pinion, the Mesmerized Blade, and a Sharp Spike, all of which we got earlier when we modified some triple triad cards. So now that we have the Cardinal, let's keep going toward the screen, transitioning into a new area, and then we're going to come down the road a little bit more, and on the left side of the screen is going to be a shop with a green sign. Let's go in here. This is actually a pub. And then we're going to go up the stairs to the upper floor. Now let's run all the way toward the camera right behind the Queen of Cards, and we're going to read the Timber Maniacs magazine on the card table to the left side of the screen. After we finish reading that, we're going to challenge the man at that same card table to a triple triad match. He wants to make really sure that we want to do this, so we have to say yes 3 times, and then we can go ahead and play without that horrible random rule affecting us. We'll go ahead and select our 5 best cards, and then we're going to play him, and we should be able to win. Now, you can see the effects of the elemental rule in play as there are a couple lightning bolts there, and some cards like this Ifrit card have a fire symbol on them. Basically, if the symbol on the card matches the symbol on the playing board, then you actually get a boost of +1 to all the numbers. However, if it is a mismatch, then you actually get a -1. For the most part, I really don't mind the elemental rule because it doesn't make much of a difference, especially in terms of the cards that we have available to us. We've got a lot of cards with A's on them, which means that they really can't be beat by anything. And because of that, we can pretty much just steamroll our way right through these triple triad matches without a second thought. So let's go ahead and wrap this game up really quickly, and then we'll move on. There you go, we won. It was a pretty easy victory. I'm gonna grab the Gala card off of him. This will come in handy later on, so if you see some Galas, be sure to pick them up. Well, now that we've beaten the man, he's pretty impressed, and not many people actually beat him, and he wants to show us his private room and tells us to come with him. Let's follow him over toward the right side of the screen and go into his private room. He has a few stacks of books around, and if you read them, there is a chance that you're going to get a very special item, such as the Occult Fan 2 magazine. It doesn't happen all the time, and it's really not necessary for anything, but if you can grab it, great. There are also some other items that you can pick up as well. If you talk to the man, he'll say that we are only the second person to ever beat him, and if you read the notes around the room in the different book piles, it is strongly hinted that Laguna is the other person who beat him. He will then also be pretty generous and give us a wide variety of cards, 5 Gizzard cards, 4 Red Bat cards, 3 Bull cards, 2 Anacondaur cards, and 1 Cactar card. None of those cards are extremely important, but those Gizzard cards can be modified into screws, and screws are useful for remodeling some weapons. Once you're done talking to him, let's challenge him to another game of Triple Triad and try to win his rare card. This is the Siren card, so make sure you pick that one up, and then we're going to keep on going. Once we have the Siren card, we can go ahead and leave this VIP lounge and go back into the main pub area. And now we want to go over and talk to the Queen of Cards. And we're going to choose the final option of the list called About Your Artist Father. She'll tell us that her father makes Triple Triad cards, and she gave the MiniMog card that she won from us to her son, and her father made a new Kyros card based on the MiniMog card, and now she wants a different card called a Sacred card. Well, all of that in due time. Let's go ahead and go down the stairs by the save point and then exit out the pub toward the right-hand side of the screen. Let's go down toward the bottom of the screen and transition into a new area. And then we're going to keep going forward. There is a dog on the left-hand side of the street. Pay attention to that. And there's also a boy over here. He doesn't say much, but he goes inside the building, and so will we. No! What is this bone doing on my painting? Why? Every time I'm almost done with my painting, you... Forget it. I'm going to the beach to let off some steam. Next time you pull a prank like this, I'm going to coochie coo the back of your neck. Understand? Well, this boy is actually the Queen of Cards' son, and he has the MiniMog card. So let's go ahead and challenge him to a match, and then we're going to beat him and get the MiniMog card back from him. Now that the MiniMog card is back where it belongs in our deck, we can look at the nearby painting, and Squall will recognize the place and note that there is a bone on it. We can go back outside, and we'll notice that the dog who is outside is no longer here. This is the beginning of a short and easy side quest where we're required to go around and find the dog in a few different places around town. If we do it now, we'll get some pretty basic items. If we do it later on in Disc 3, we'll get much better items. Well, we're all done in Dollet, so let's just keep running up away from the camera toward the top of the screen through a few different areas, and then we're going to exit Dollet altogether and be back out into the world map. Before we go on, let's make a quick alteration to a couple of our abilities. So we're going to pull up our menu, and then we're going to go to Junction. We'll choose Zell, go to Ability, and we're going to give him the ability Encounter Half that we learned from Diablos. Also, let's go over to Renoa. She's currently junctioned with Quetzalcoatl, and we're going to give her the ability Card instead of the item command. Now we want to run all the way back to Timber so that we can get another copy of that Timber Maniacs magazine. We were told earlier that the Timber Hotel was closed down temporarily, but now it's open again. So if we choose to spend the night in the hotel, just like what we did in Dollet a moment ago, we can get another copy of Timber Maniacs read. So now we'll just follow either the road or the train tracks, and we'll get all the way back to Timber. As long as we're on the train tracks or the road itself, we won't get into any enemy encounters. But if we do happen to stray off the path just a little bit, the Encounter Half ability will kick in, and we probably won't get into many fights anyway. You could also just completely disable all enemy encounters if you use the boost on the Remastered version. So now we are arriving once again in the town of Timber. Let's head on inside. We'll go straight ahead and into the next area. And now we're going to go into the hotel on the right-hand side. Let's go over and talk to the person underneath the information sign, and we'll spend 100 gil to spend the night here. And if we look over on the table on the right-hand side of the screen, there's going to be the Timber Maniacs magazine that we can read. And once we get done reading it, we're going to go ahead and leave this hotel room. And then we're going to make our way back toward the screen so that we can leave the hotel. Once again, run toward the screen and do that once more so that we can go back out to the world map. Let's turn the camera in the direction of the train tracks and start running that way. And as we start to run along the train tracks over on the right hand side, I got into a fight against a monster, and now is a good time to show you a nice combat trick that allows us to still get AP without getting any experience and leveling up, and that's by using the card command that Renoa has. Turning an enemy into a triple triad card is actually a lot like capturing a Pokemon if you played those games. What you want to do is to lower the enemy's HP as much as you can without defeating it, and then use the card command in order to capture it. The lower the enemy's HP is, the greater the chance that you'll be able to turn it into a card. And the best part is that in addition to getting a new triple triad card that we could use to mod into an item or a spell that could be useful for us, we also get no experience and don't level up, and we still get all of the items and AP for our Guardian Forces that we would have if we killed it. And we're actually going to use that card ability quite a bit coming up. Let's continue along the road over toward the right side. If you want to save a little time, you can just run straight through the forest. Just know that forest areas do have more enemy encounters than the plains or the grassy area. Let's take a second to run off the road and get into a fight with an enemy encounter. It's helpful to go into the junction option and to remove the encounter half ability off of Zell before you run around here, just to make enemies show up a little bit more commonly. We'll now get into a fight against a Thrust Avis and a Gizzard. These guys are pretty easy to defeat. Once again, I would recommend trying to card these monsters. As you can see, Squall has the Strength Junction ability on, and he's pretty strong, so unfortunately he does get a kill on that Gizzard, but that's okay, it's just a little bit of experience and it doesn't matter too much. We'll have Zell attack the Thrust Avis, and then Renoa is going to attack as well. Now that the Thrust Avis has lower HP, we're able to try to card it. There's no guarantee that it's going to work. Again, the lower the enemy's health, the greater the chance that card will work. But again, it's not guaranteed. It might take a couple trials to get this to work, but eventually you'll be able to card it. Most enemies can be turned into cards with the exception of bosses and most humanoid enemies like soldiers. We get a little bit of experience because we killed that Gizzard by accident, not a big deal, but we did get the Thrust Avis card, and we also got enough AP for Quetzalcoatl to learn Thunder Magic Refine. Now we're going to go into our menu, go down to Ability, and we're going to choose the Card Mod option. And we want to find those Thrust Avis cards that we've just created. If you have 5 of them, you can turn them into 5 Sheer Feathers. And then we can use that new T-Magic Refine that we just got from Quetzalcoatl, and we can use that on the Sheer Feathers. If we get 5 Sheer Feathers to convert into arrows, we'll actually get 100 arrow magics, and we'll go ahead and put those onto Squall. And just like that, we have 100 pretty good magic spells without having to spend a ton of time drawing them out of enemies. Because we just learned a new ability with Quetzalcoatl, we need to manually change the ability that he's learning. We're going to teach him Vitality Junction. Now we actually want to junction some of our new magic onto our stats. So go up to Junction, we'll choose Zell, we're going to go to Auto, and select Attack. Then we're going to go over to Squall, and we're going to choose Auto and Attack. The arrow junctioned onto his HP, which actually raised it by 300 points. And we can do the same for Renoa. She doesn't have a lot of stats that we can junction to just yet, but that will change coming up. Now let's go over by that large forest nearby, but we're not going to go into it just yet. Instead, we'll open up the menu, and we want to go down to the Switch option, and then we want to use the Junction Exchange option to switch Zell with Quistis and Selfie with Renoa. And that's because we're going to do another Laguna Dream sequence, and Ward and Kyros will be set up just like Quistis and Selfie. We're not too far from Galbadia Garden now. Hey, I was just thinking. There might be some bad news from the Galbadian government. What if we get caught and then get broadcast to the whole world? Whatever happens, happens. Now come on, let's just keep going. I'm worried about Balam Garden. If anything happens to Garden, it's all my fault. I'm the one who said we were all from Garden. You think the president will retaliate on Garden? Maybe. Figures. But we have a whole bunch of seeds at Balam Garden. They wouldn't lose to the Galbadian army, would they? Depends how strong the army is. I know, but... Oh, you're just a great leader, aren't you? Do you actually have fun acting so callous toward your comrades? Not again. Zell wants your support. I knew it was going to be something like that. Any kind of encouragement will make... That's just to ease your mind. Am I the only one who thinks that? No, I'm sure Seifer. Don't you ever worry about or even think about the well-being of your comrades? I don't believe in relying on others. Don't you understand? Whatever. Are you listening, Squall? What the... This sensation. Me too. What's going on? I think they went to the dream world. Kyros, you sure this is the place? Positive. I don't want to be patrolling the wrong place like last time. Sorry, this ain't the place. This is it. Let's go, Commander. I brought the wrong map. Somehow, I have a bad feeling about this. Nah, just my imagination. Nah, everything's cool. Hey, make sure you guys are fully equipped. Well, we are on duty. Let's get a move on and check things out. Because we did that junction exchange earlier, we're already set up. Let's continue moving away from the screen and into the next area. Now let's use the nearby draw point in this area to get a few sleep spells, and we're going to put those onto Laguna so that they transfer over to Squall later on. Now let's go forward a little bit for a scene. But seriously, this place sure is strange. What the heck is this big pile of rocks? You think these are natural rocks used for carving tombstones? Who knows, or cares? Speaking of strange, why have you been running around so strange? Strange? What do you mean strange? Just being cautious. That's the basic rule of the... Hey? Looks like we've got company. Estar soldiers. Still wearing those flashy uniforms. Laguna! Don't be such a weenie. What the... Well, we're put into a fight against one Estar soldier. This guy's very easy though, especially because Laguna has his strength junctions pretty strong, just like Squall did, and he's able to take out the enemy basically in one hit. Wasn't our mission just to patrol? Why does it have to turn out like this? Seriously, I wasn't expecting this at all. And now we're put into a fight against a couple more S-Star soldiers. These guys are pretty easy though. We can have Laguna take out 2 of the enemies, and then together Ward and Kyros are strong enough to take out the 3rd enemy. There you go, that was a pretty easy fight. We'll collect all of our experience, and we did get enough for our Guardian Forces to level up as well. And also Kyros leveled up, which will transfer over to Selfie's level. There's more coming. There's no end to this. Better make a run for it. Let's take the path that goes off to the right-hand side. Huh? A ladder! Guys, it's a ladder! Looks like it leads down. And we'll take the ladder down into the next screen. Once we get down to the bottom of the ladder, start to run away from the camera and you'll get another short scene. Ouch! What's wrong? My leg cramped up. Phew, it's fine now. I'm so out of shape. Gotta stretch before I exercise. That last battle we had doesn't really count as exercise. What? Did you say something? No. Starting from here, we're able to get into random battles that we don't want to get into, so we'll go into the menu, choose Junction on Ward, and set the Encounter Half ability onto him so that we'll get fewer enemy encounters as we run through this area. Now continue to run away from the camera and into the next area. From here, turn left and go into the cave. There's some rubble on the ground nearby. Let's get close to it, and then Laguna is going to choose to pick it up. Received old key. I feel a draft on my butt. There's a hole in my back pocket. Can't find it. Ah well, it's not like I'm gonna die. Laguna lost the old key. Now let's keep going left into the new area. And once again, keep going left all the way into a new area. Now you want to go over and interact with the top portion of this hatch on the ground for a little scene. The lever on the hatch is loose. I know. If we use this, some stubborn S-Star fool won't be able to come after us. What the heck are you up to? Something stupid again, I bet. You guys, you're gonna regret saying that. They say one who makes fun of a genius will end up crying in the end. So, who's the genius? Just shut up! Anyway, the lever for this hatch is broken. So if we just loosen it a bit more, when they come after us from that side end... Yes! You guessed it, they'll walk over it without expecting a thing. Then all of a sudden, whoops, and down they go. I have to admit, I really am a genius. Huh. Like the SR soldiers are really gonna fall for this trap. We won't know until we try, and those who never try will never know. So, I'm gonna do it. Just remember, if we tamper with the lever, we won't be able to make it back to the other side. It'd be idiotic to fall for our own trap. So, here it goes. Tamper with it. You guys, stand back. There. Now we'll go back toward the right side. Now we're going to backtrack through a couple screens until we can get back to the ladder that we climbed down earlier. And now let's climb back up the ladder. Now that we're at the top, let's run toward the camera a bit, and then we're going to take the left path at the intersection and run away from the camera into a new area. We'll go forward just a little bit, and then over on the right-hand side is going to be a path that's going to take us to another draw point. So let's use that, and we'll get some confuse magic, put it on anyone you want to. And now we're going to go down the middle path away from the camera and go down this ladder. Once again, on the ground toward the left side is going to be another key that we can find. Just stick toward the left side and you'll automatically try to pick it up. What's this? Pick it up. Received old key. This time it's in my shirt pocket, so ha! Achoo! No, not again! Can't find it. Laguna lost the old key. Oh well, nothing cheaper than something free. Nothing cheaper than something free? What? Is it something I said? Come on, let's go. Now keep running toward the camera and we're going to find ourselves on the left side of the hatch that we booby-trapped earlier. Wait a minute, maybe this lever too. So here it goes, tamper with it. You guys, stand back. You planning to fall for your own trap? It's already a dead end. You still want to close off the path we just took with a trap? Normally, even if you raise the lever, it'd be meaningless. Oh, I get it. Well, perfect timing, I guess. You know what I mean. Since this lever is also loose, I just thought we'd leave it alone. Yeah, right. What? You don't believe me? Come on, guys! Alright, now that we've successfully booby-trapped this one as well, we can proceed over toward the left side of the screen and make our way back the way we came. The reason that we're doing this is that it allows us to get some really good rewards when we come back here with Squall much later on. Let's make our way back up the ladder at the end of the tunnel, and we'll be back in the upper catwalk area. Now we're going to run toward the camera again so that we can go back into the earlier area. It looks like the draw point has turned purple once again, so let's go over and use it and get some more sleeps to put onto Laguna. Now we're going to take the right path again and go down the ladder. Again, once we get to the bottom of the ladder, run away from the screen so that we can go into the area to the further back. Now we'll turn left and go into the tunnel. Continue to run over toward the left to go into the new area, and once again continue all the way to the left to get back to the room with the 3 trapdoors. And now we're going to booby trap the rightmost hatch. Wait a minute, maybe this lever too. So here it goes, tamper with it. This lever, it's not moving because there's something stuck. Ah, well. Now we'll go over toward the right side. And we'll go one more screen over to the right. Now there's a path leading toward the top of the screen directly across from where we got and then lost that first key. Continue straight ahead past the boulder on our left and go into the tunnel in front of us. Now we're going to go forward and interact with the item on the ground. The heck's this? A blue and red switch and 2 fuses? A detonator, you know. Oh, I get it. The short blue fuse is for that boulder, and the long red fuse is for the boulder further down. Hey man, are you crazy? You don't even know how powerful that thing will be. I bet it's not all that. The detonator's right here, so as long as we stay behind it, we'll be alright. Well, I guess so. Let's see. What to do? Press the red switch furthest boulder. The bomb blast won't reach us here. Just stay put. Whoa, what? That was awfully loud. Lucky we were here. That's what I told you before. You should always check how powerful the thing could be. Wasn't that me who said that? Anyway, we're all still alive, right? Now we'll interact with the fuse again. This time we're going to press the blue switch nearest boulder. It's gonna blow! Run for it! That was awfully quiet. I was expecting a blast of some sort. See, I told you it wasn't all that powerful. Now let's keep going up the stairs toward the top of the screen. We'll keep going along the path all the way up and then all the way toward the left. You may encounter some enemies as you run through here. The SR soldiers you cannot turn into cards because they're humanoids. However, if you get things like Gespers, you can turn those into cards. As we run through the next area, there's going to be a boulder on the left side, and we want to interact with it. Whew, that was close. Geez, you have to go around touching everything like a little kid, don't you? Chill out a little, will ya? Whatever, man. Thanks to me, those SR soldiers and the rock are history. It's like killing 2 pigs with 1 stone. I'm just so awesome. Genius, I tell you. Pigs? Don't you mean birds? Pushing that boulder opened up a new draw point for us, and we can get some cure magic. So let's go ahead and draw it with any party member that is available. And then we're going to run up toward the top of the screen and into a new area. From here, we want to go forward, and you can use the save point if you want to. Otherwise, just keep going away from the camera and up the stairs. Go forward, and we'll get into a scene and a fight. Don't tell me. Of all the worst possible. predicaments. We're put into a fight against two very slightly stronger SR soldiers than what we fought before, but we can take them out very easily. Basically just hold down the X button and you're going to win this fight, because one attack from Kyros, one from Ward, and one from Laguna should be enough to finish off one of the enemies, and then just repeat it for the other enemy. Unfortunately for us, when the second enemy gets low on health and is just about to be defeated, he's going to use an attack called Soul Crush, and he's going to reduce the health of both Kyros and Ward to just 1 HP. And the bigger bummer is that 1 HP is going to carry over to Quistis and to Selfie once we get back with the other party. But now that we've defeated the enemy, we're going to get our rewards and then have another scene to conclude this dream sequence.
Look, the ocean. We're saved. Lady Luck is on our side. We can escape to Calbadia. One would say we've been run down. That's what they'd normally say. Don't say that. It might come true. Didn't your grandmother tell you that? If you say something bad, it will come true. Yeah, I think she did. What'd you say? I think his throat was injured. He lost his voice. It was for you. Say again? It was fun, you guys. Laguna. Kyros. It was fun. Ward, that's way uncool. It's not cool to say things like that. Just for that, you're getting the coochie coochie treatment. How's that, huh? Want more? Well... Whoa. Check it out, a boat. We're getting on. Vessel, they'd normally call it. Boat, vessel, whatever. We're going back to Calbadia. You guys sure have guts. You know how high this cliff is? Oh shit, no way! Ah! Was it Laguna again? Sir Laguna's in big trouble. I hope he'll be okay. Doesn't seem like the first time for you all. What is this? If it were just me, I could tell the others it was only a crazy dream. We'll just be wasting our time trying to figure it out. Let's keep going. Yeah, let's go. I think we're almost there. Squall? I think I may have said too much. I'm sorry. Forget about it. Now before we go on, we want to fight a series of monsters in this area that can really help us to become much stronger very early in the game. Starting off, we'll go into the menu and we want to go down to the switch ability and we want to change up our party members a little bit. We want to remove Zell and Renoa, and in their place we're going to bring on Quistis and Selfie. And the reason that we want to do this is just because they're already junctioned properly. But because Quistis and Selfie have such low health, we could either use some magic or just one tent to get them back to full health.
Now that we're all healed up, let's change our abilities a little bit by going to Junction and then to Quistis. We want to remove the Encounter Half ability off of her so that we can actually get into fights pretty easily. And now we're going to Auto Junction her toward Attack. Now we're going to Junction Squall, and we're going to set him up Auto and Attack as well. Then Junction his Magic. We want to go over toward the left, and then on his status attack, we want to give him Sleep, and then we can put something else on the defense. It doesn't really matter. We just want to make sure that we have status attack Sleep set up for him. And then with Selfie, you can just set her up to auto whatever you want to. It doesn't really matter. And now we'll quickly save the game before we get started monster hunting. Let's run toward the camera now. We want to run away from the desert area and back toward the river area. And we're just going to run around in the plains here until we get into a very specific fight. If you encounter some Thrustavises, you can turn them into cards and then refine those cards into sheer feathers and then turn those sheer feathers into more Aero magics. But what we're really after is this encounter against just one Funguar. These Fungars are very weak and they can't do much damage to us at all when they attack. The only downside is that they can inflict sleep on us, but what we want to do is to start drawing sleep magic out of them, and we want to do this quite a bit so that we can get at least 100 of those sleeps so that we can junction them onto Squall, basically guaranteeing that he's able to put enemies to sleep minus whatever resistances they might have. Well, now I'm just going to skip ahead to the end of the fight. I know that I've gotten at least 100 sleeps between my three characters. Selfie does not have her strength junction to any magic, so I know that I'm not going to do a lot of damage with her, and I don't run the risk of killing this Funguar. But we want to lower his health a little bit. You could either just run away from this fight and you'll keep all of those sleeps that you've drawn, or you can just go ahead, lower his health a little bit, and then try to card him. It doesn't really matter which way you do it, just finish the fight, but I would recommend not killing him just to avoid getting that little bit of extra experience that we don't need. Well, after the fight, we want to move the sleep magic that we have on Quistis and Selfie over to Squall. So go to Magic, then use Exchange, choose Sleep, and then give it to Squall. And that way we can choose to give all of them or split them up somehow, but in the end, we just want Squall to have 100 sleeps. And then just make sure that he has junctioned his magic for the status attack to Sleep. And now it says 100%, so we should be good to go to make sure that enemies are falling asleep whenever we hit them with a normal attack. Once again, we're just going to quickly save the game, and then we're going to continue on and fight some stronger enemies, and we're going to be carding them in order to get some good items. Let's run into the forest, and we want to hug the wall that's closest to the building that we can see in the distance. As long as you're touching that wall while running into the forest, you will always get into a very specific enemy encounter, and that's going to be against the Grendel enemy. Now, Grendels are quite strong. At this point, they've got about 3,000 HP, which puts them even beyond a lot of the bosses that we've fought so far. They also hurt quite a bit, but when we do a normal attack with Squall, there's a very good chance, in fact an 80% chance, that it's going to fall asleep, and now we don't have to worry about it so much so long as we don't hit it with other physical attacks. We can take this opportunity to draw some double spells out of him. Doubles are pretty good for junctioning onto certain stats. So you want to use Quistis' turn and Selfie's turn to draw the double spell out of him, and then Squall's going to be attacking and hopefully continuing to put him to sleep every time he attacks. Throughout the course of this battle, I did get to the point where I drew enough times out of an enemy to get the Magician trophy. You need to draw 100 times from enemies in order for that trophy to pop up, and it just happened to do it during this fight. When Squall attacks, you want to pay attention to how much damage he's doing when he attacks. I'm doing anywhere between 300 and 350 damage, which means 3 attacks will do about 1,000 damage, which means that 6 attacks will do about 2,000 damage, and that's about 2/3 of his total HP. At that point, we should be good to try to start carding him, and we should be able to do that with relatively good success rates. I don't want to go too much further than about 2,000 damage against him because I don't want to accidentally get a critical hit and possibly kill him because I will get a lot of experience for this fight that I don't really want. If he wakes up, he might be in a little bit of trouble because he does hit pretty hard with both physical attacks and magic attacks. But again, you can just have Squall attack and put him to sleep again. It should be noted that this Grendel is right around level 10 or so, which is why it's got about 3000 HP. If your level is higher, then his level is higher and he'll have more HP as well. Alright, well that was Squall's 6th attack against him. He's asleep once again. This gives me a very good opportunity to go ahead and try to card him. Again, it's not guaranteed that it will happen, so it can fail, but at about 2/3 of his HP gone, you should be able to do it within a couple tries. Just for good measure, I'll have Squall attack again just to lower his health a bit more, and now it's even more likely that I'm able to get that card to work. So let's go ahead and just have Quistis try to draw once again, and then Selphie will try to card the enemy, and we should get it to work this time. And there you go, we successfully carded the Grendel. We didn't even lose a whole lot of health doing that either, and we don't get any experience for doing that. What we're really trying to do is to get a specific item to drop, and that is the Dragon Fang. We need a total of 4 Dragon Fangs to drop in order to help craft Squall's ultimate weapon early on in the game. We also get 6 AP, which is very good for learning new abilities for our Guardian Forces. After every fight, I would recommend saving just in case something goes wrong. And now I'm going to skip ahead toward the end of the next fight or two, and at this point I do successfully get another one of those Grendels to be carded. I get my 6 AP, and that's going to be enough for me to get Siren to learn a new ability, and it's a very important ability called Life Magic Refine. We can use that to get some very good magic to junction onto our stats. So let's open up the menu, go down to Ability, and then we want to select L Magic Refine or Life Magic Refine. If we go down, we'll see we've got some things like Tents that will give us 10 Curagas, or Wizard Stones that will give us 5 Curagas each. I want to give a bunch of Curagas over to Squall, and at this point I should have enough supplies in order to get 100 Curagas onto Squall. We also got some zombie powders when we defeated Jiro on the train, so I can turn those into 100 zombies, and zombie is a good thing to junction onto vitality, so I'm going to give that over to Quistis. Now let's go up to the junction option. We're going to choose Squall, and we're going to junction his magic for HP. And you'll see that Aero gives us 916 HP, but Curaga gives us 2,916 HP, which is 1,900 more HP just for junctioning a different magic onto it. I'm also going to go down to the magic stat and replace Cure with Aero to get a big boost for that as well. And just make sure you still have Sleep assigned to that status attack. Now we're going to go over to Quistis, and like I said before, Zombie pairs very well with Vitality, so we're going to junction Magic Vitality, choose Zombie, and we're going to increase it from 6 all the way up to 30, which is a 5 times increase. Also, because we learned a new ability, let's check in to make sure that all of our Guardian Forces are learning what we want them to learn. Starting with Quetzalcoatl, he's learning Vitality Junction. Over to Shiva, Elemental Attack Junction. Ifrit is learning Elemental Defense Junction. Siren is learning Tool Refine. And Diablos is learning Mug. Mug is really useful later on, so we want to learn that pretty soon. Now, because we do have a little bit lower health, we're going to use either some magic or we're going to use a tent to get our health back. We can save the game once again before continuing on, and we want to go around and keep fighting some Grendels until we get to the point where we get 4 of those Dragon Fangs to drop from them. If the Grendel's level is 19 or below, it has a very good chance of dropping Dragon Fangs. However, if its level is between 20 and 29, it has a reduced chance to drop Dragon Fangs, but if the level is 30 or above, it will no longer drop Dragon Fangs, so you need to do this while your party level is as low as possible. And after you have those 4 Dragon Fangs, keep running around in the middle of the forest area to get into a fight with some Anacondaurs. Once again, we're going to be carding these enemies so we can have Squall attack them and put them to sleep. If you're getting low on health, these guys do have the Cure spell, so you can draw that from them and heal your party members up. We're going to attack 2 times with Squall. After that, we're then going to card the enemy. And there you go, there's one Anacondaur down. Let's take out the next one. We'll have Squall attack and put it to sleep. You don't have to get rid of really the majority of its health, you just have to get rid of a good chunk of it, and you can try to use the card command earlier than the 2 attacks. It's just more likely that it will work if you wait a little bit longer and take away more of his health. Well, anyway, there we go. We've successfully completed that battle, and we didn't gain any experience, but we did gain a couple dragon skins. We need to get a total of 4 dragon skins, so keep running around in this area until you can get 4 dragon skins to drop from those Anacondaurs. During the course of getting those dragon skins, it looks like Quetzalcoatl and Siren learned a new ability. So starting off with Quetzalcoatl, we're going to start teaching him HP Junction. And then we're going to go over to Siren, and we're going to teach Siren a new ability. There are 2 good options here. We could either teach Siren Status Medicine Refine or Magic plus 20%. Either one, perfectly fine. I'm just going to go with Magic plus 20%. We'll save the game and then keep running around defeating Anacondaurs. I'm just going to skip ahead toward the end of the next fight, where we do get the 4th and final one of those dragon skins. There are other enemies in this area as well. You can fight cockatrices, Funguars, Ochus fairly rarely, and also Wendigos. None of them are very important though, so you can basically run away from them, but if you have the mug command, you should be mugging some steel pipes out of those Wendigos if possible. But if you don't have that yet, don't worry about it, we'll get more of those later on. Now also looks like Ifrit learned Elemental Defense Junction, so let's open up the menu, go to GF, we're going to choose Ifrit, and we're going to teach him a new ability. This time we want to learn Strength plus 20%. And now that he's learning that, let's go ahead and recap what we did over here in this forest. Let's go into the items and make sure we have everything that we need. We have 4 dragon fangs that we got from Grendels, and we have 4 dragon skins that we got from Anacondaurs. All in all, it took me about 40 minutes to do all of this. We'll go ahead and save the game just to lock in this progress, and this is where we're going to end part 6. Thank you very much for watching, I really appreciate it. We're going to pick up right here next time and continue on with the story, so I hope you'll join me for that. Be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and consider subscribing to see more videos like this. I'll see you soon in part 7. Until then, thanks for watching, and have a good day.